All right. Pizza's good? Nice. All right. So, all right. So we want to cover a bunch of stuff because we're basically tomorrow is we're kickoff. We're gonna start making some money. We got some cool stuff to share with you guys. So first of all, I think I want to start off with just kind of, and some of you guys heard this story, but I want to reshare it with you because I think it's kind of understand why Judson and I are here, why we decided to pick this business model, and really kind of the opportunity that the entire market is really supporting, right? And because that's important. You can have a great product, but if the market's not going to pick it up, then there's not a lot of opportunity for us to grow and to build something. And I think here we have something that's really cool that we could build. And again, my passion in life in business has always been kind of like, can we pick some niche where it's low competition, right? I'll give you an example. I know a guy that sells spray insulation. He gets to pick up $500,000 contracts. $500,000 contracts takes him 3 days worth of work.
Oh yeah.
Why? Because he owns a $200,000 or $300,000 piece of machinery. You can't just get in that business, right? He's got kind of a niche. So he gets calls. His close ratio is extremely high. So I've always tried to figure out, okay, how can I be in that side of the business? And I'll kind of give you this. We'll start from the beginning. So a few years ago, as the mortgage business started to decline, I thought, what niche can I be in the mortgage space that would kind of separate myself, but also have people call me? How do I build something where they come chase me versus me having to chase the business, right? Always been fascinated with that model. So I decided, FHA had recently at that time come up with a solar loan, and I was like, "Ooh, I like solar. I think it's kind of the wave." At that time, the government was giving a truckload of money out for that industry, and so I was like, I want to look at this. So I called every lender that I could think of, literally almost 200, and there was only 2 lenders that were offering this FHA solar loan. Crazy. So Judson was working on solar, but in a little different fashion at the time. So we started talking, and then once a month started once a week, and then once a week started every couple of days, and then every day. And then we're like, wait a minute, why don't we just work together? Okay, great. So we decided to team up. This was September or August of 2024, I think. And we went down this path. We're like, we're going to sell a ton of solar loans. This is going to be our niche. So we started calling CEOs of all these companies, getting appointments. And by the way, we had good reception on the product. So the product is not bad. But what we were faced against was the solar industry at the time in 2024. They could go to the customer's house, sit at the table, put in a little app, get approved in 5 seconds, and then they would get funded in 72 hours. On an FHA loan, it's like 30 days. You're not competing with that in any capacity. Now, the product was much better, and it would have saved the customer tens of thousands of dollars. And I didn't want to go into what. There's a reason why I went into the solar space financing, because I felt like the solar finance industry was ripping people off. Kinda. They were charging all the interest up front on those deals, all the interest. So if you got a 10-year or 12-year note for a solar loan, you were paying all the interest on day one. I'll explain that to you guys later. But that was why I wanted to get into that side of the business. So technically, our loan was much better. Now, bad timing, rates were high, turn times were too long. So sure enough, as we were about to, and by the way, we met with tons of companies, okay? And as me and Judson were like, let's give up on the solar thing. Maybe we'll just start selling solar. That's kind of where we were almost headed, and we did sell a couple deals. But my point is, we were like, it's not kind of quite it. I had 6 months prior, I had sat through a meeting on an HEI product, and I told myself, I'm never selling that product. It's terrible. I'm not putting my client in an equity share program. I think I'm not interested, essentially, right? So fast forward 8 months later, 6 to 8 months later, one of the solar guys that we'd been working with a little bit called us up, and he's like, hey, and he actually did believe in the FHA solar loan. He called us up and he's like, hey, we had our first finance company go bankrupt in the beginning of 2025. Let's say this is probably March or April. First company went out to file bankruptcy, and it was a big finance company. He's like, I see the writing on the wall. It's going to happen. Is there any product that you have that has a better payment, goes down to 580 credit score? I was like, no, there's nothing. Nothing with a better payment than a regular mortgage, and nothing with a lower than a 580 credit score. It's not out there. So he's like, man, we could clean up the market if we could just find something. Because all the solar companies were starting to panic. Fast forward, even just a few days later, well, what I told him is I said, I think I've got this one product, and I remember the HEI. I said, let me look into it. So I'm going to go and research it. So I call the rep back. I find the video. I go through the train again. I call him out. I'm like, hey, man, there's this weird product. It's called an HEI. I don't know much about it. It seems like it could be good. It's 500 credit score. There's no payments. So what do you think? He's like, I think there's some legs to this. I think I can sell it. So sure enough, he calls back a few days later. Second company goes to bankrupt, HEI, or solar finance company. He goes, I think I can sell this. I'm like, okay. He's like, I think I can sell this. So sure enough, I don't know, like a month or two later, he starts sending a ton of leads in, lots of leads. We're like, whoa, maybe this has some legs. Again, we're not huge fans of it. Judson and I still didn't believe in the product, even up until a few months later. Well, then because the other thing is we were going through all the lenders that we were working with, and we were all having issues, tons of issues. They said they had a wholesale channel. They didn't really have a wholesale channel. They said they would work with us and give us updates. They weren't giving us updates. Our contractors were getting pissed because we couldn't give them updates. We didn't have updates. It was just very problematic, very traumatic experience. And so we realized that, wow, we got to fix this. We don't know if this is going to be workable product just because of the customer experience, okay? So we were still not a believer. Leads were flowing in, and it was becoming problematic because of the tracking, their process flows, the communication was so bad. So we paused it. In August of 2025, we were like, stop. We're not taking any more deals. We're not taking more clients. And by the way, getting the clients was not the hard part. That was the easy part. We had plenty of clients. We couldn't get the deals done. So then we said, okay, let's hold off for a month. Splitero one of our main investors had just come up with the TPO portal. That changed a lot for us because it became a little more functional to do, a little easier to see the flow of the deal and communicate with our partners. So we waited another month. September 15th is actually the day. We said, okay, we're going to turn it back on. We start taking some more deals in. We meet April. And we said, April, not meet April, we've met April. We said, April, we're going to start giving you these deals. She's going to start taking them. So she starts putting them in, starts working them. And we slowly start to make some progress. Mind you, we're basically only a couple months in this thing, trying to learn the product, still don't even quite understand the math of it. So then we start making some good traction over the next couple of months, and then our pipeline starts building. And I want to say in December, right at the beginning of December, we had a couple things that happened to us. One, I had started talking to a couple of the home improvement reps, and they were fascinated with this product. I remember one guy called me and said, hey, this is the no pay loan. This is how I sell it to my client. And after that call, I go to Judson in April, and I'm like, they said the no pay loan. That's unique. That's kind of cool. And through that experience, he was sharing with me, and a couple guys shared with me that actually is what drove curiosity to get the clients to have appointments with them. The no payment factor is what got them to close the sale, right? Because they had a tool or a finance tool that allowed the customer to adopt this, the product that they wanted to purchase. And then, of course, hearing the stories that we were impacting some clients, we personally did a deal for one of our loan officers who had a $1,000 mortgage payment. We paid it off, and he had no payment, and he was semi-fixed income. We really started to see it affect us closely in our own circles. And so I went to Judson, and I was like, I wonder if this is our thing. I wonder if this is the thing we need to focus on and let mortgages sort of be secondary and let this be our primary deal. And we had a long discussion. We talked to April about it. And it was funny. Actually, I didn't even talk to April. I called her, and she sort of literally said the same thing. Literally 2 days later, she goes, what if we made this our primary thing? And I was like, it's funny you mentioned that. We literally just had that conversation. So Judson and I thought about it, and we then were doing a bunch of research, and we came up with the nopaynow.com that was available. We're like, that's our branding. That's what we're going to go with. And so we wanted to build this product. And by the way, we're not the only ones doing this. Let's be clear. We've got monster organizations doing billions of dollars of deals of this product to consumers pretty much only in the marketplace. So there's still an opportunity for us, because our target audience is going to be home improvement companies, solar companies, tractor companies, RV companies, anybody selling high-ticket items, third-party channel partners, what we call them, right? So we realized that it was like there's something here for our specific niche market, and we knew that we can scale this pretty well. Okay, and then between December and January, the other thing we realized is the Wall Street was adopting this product massively. When you get Wall Street adoption, you know you have something great because they want to scale this, right? So we started to see 9-figure investments into 10-figure investments into these companies that are supplying the money to us, right? So we knew, okay, there's something really here. So we knew we were headed on the right path. So then we started building out a business model, what's going to look like, and that's how we decided to come up with an AEAM model. But really, then over between January and today, like I told Judson, I've been going over these in-person or virtual meetings with these home improvement companies, solar companies, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you between February and March, they're literally jumping out of their chair and saying, okay, how can I send you deals? How can we start? How fast can we go? And then, of course, we started calling you guys and was like, hey, what do you think? And it's just an interest, and we're going to help you through the process. And our goal is to build an entire process system to where you don't have to think about much. You just do A, B, and C and produces X, right? And the idea is understanding the product so you can explain it and sell it. But then the second piece is what is your target, understanding what your target audience. Your target audience is third-party, we call them channel partners. So somebody who's already out there to the customer. Then the other thing we took is we decided, okay, how do we break up that component so Cruise doesn't have to talk to the channel partner and then talk to the customer and then get bogged down with 25 customers and then don't have time to service the channel partner. So we broke it up in what we call pods. And as you guys know, there's an A position and an AM position. So that's kind of the story. That's why we're here. That's the business model we're going to build. And then, of course, our new partnership with Dynagen, we also realized that some of these deals are going to turn to HELOCs. Some deals are going to turn to actual solar loans. So we talked to a company this morning that we've already had our third conversation with, one of Cruise's accounts. They actually are in Texas, so we can't offer the HEI product, but they're very interested in the solar loan. That's going to be a great product, and the HELOC. So there are some components where now with our partnership with Dynagen, you guys will also get paid what we call an override on that volume. So no matter what, now you pick up a channel partner, you're getting paid if they do financing with us. I think it's going to be a lot easier than we think. I also think it's going to be harder than we think, right? At the end of the day, it's work. If we're scared of work, then we probably shouldn't be here. But if we're not scared of work, and we want to build relationships. We love talking to people. We love helping them help their customers. This is going to be a perfect mix. Let's talk about the product overview. So right now, I think most of you guys get the basic concept. We actually do have a video training piece that either if we have time, we'll show it today. If not, we'll email it all out tonight. We got a lot of stuff going out between today and tomorrow to you guys. Again, talking about target audience, I think we already went over that. And then the last real thing I want to share with you guys is that if you do this right, you don't have to sell. This is not selling. Caretaking. You just talk to people. You find out what their needs are. We already know what their needs are, and we know we have the solution for it, right? So again, you don't have to worry about getting all detailed with Susie, homemaker, and you can if the time arises, and we're going to go into that system process and how that is going to flow. So again, I just want to say, don't focus on the individual units, because that's what a lot of people get their hang up on. They go, oh my gosh, well, this is not enough commission. It's not the commission I'm used to, right? And for a lot of people, it's a third of what they would make on a normal standard mortgage product. But it's not even about that. What it's about is getting accounts. Right? If you get, and this is the analogy I use to a lot of people, and I think this is very true. We'll just use roofers, for example. If you get a roofer, and a big roofer can send you 6 fundings a month. On average loan out, let's say it's $500 in commission, right? So now you're at $3,000 a month. So if that's the average, let's even say the average is $2,000, right? Per account. How many accounts do you need to make a really healthy living? 20 accounts? 10 accounts is $20,000 a month. 20 accounts, 40,000. It can really scale. And again, because your UAEs are not going to be bogged down with the actual selling of the product and processing the product, you should be able to scale and build a lot of relationships. And there's a lot of verticals we can go to. Again, somebody talked about, I can't remember who, talking to RV dealers, right? RV dealers, you got these retirees that may have fixed income, but they want that little extra nice RV that they can't afford. Well, we can do it, leverage their equity, get an RV. Now they don't have a payment. Now they can probably even travel more than they expected. So a couple things we're going to do for you guys is by tomorrow, so like you said, emails, before you leave today, we'll try to make sure your emails are all functional. We're going to give you a state mapping for all the states that we're in. I suggest that we have two main investors that we're going to be primarily focused on. One is Spotero, one is Point. We're going to give you an overlap of those states. I think if you guys want a state to focus on, your southern states are going to have more solar opportunity, and solar is still a big play. Sometime in the future, we'll talk about solar specifically, because there's some lingo that you may want to know. There's some really cool technologies coming out there. There's actually some income. Judson and I, we're going to work on some income generating products that can be addition to this for the solar companies. So we'll give you lists, flyers by tomorrow, and a site map so you can see what states are available. And those lists can be like, if Crew says, I really want to be in the home improvement sector because I understand remodeling or Macy, and he loves Arizona because his boy's down there. He's got a beautiful mansion. Yeah. So okay, Macy, guess what? We're gonna get you 2,000 remodel companies in Arizona. Here's a list. We'll put them in your CRM, and you can just go to town and start calling. So we're going to work with everybody on that. If you have your own, feel free to call those anytime you want as well. Also, business cards, we are working on those. Emails, again, we'll make sure your emails are going. I think that's it. I think that I've pretty much covered everything I need to. So I think Judson's now going to cover the handout. Did you hand it out to everybody? Oh, you did. Okay, perfect.
All right. So regarding flyers and cards and marketing materials and all that fun stuff, we're working on a consumer-facing flyer right now so that when
we'll have it done by tomorrow.
Yeah, when you get an account and they're like, hey, can you send me something? Because that's the number one thing we get. They're like, dude, the product sounds easy enough for us. Like, we get it. Can you send us something so we can send it to our clients or hand it out to them? Easy. It's going to be a one-page, not going to be overly complicated. It's just going to be something they can hand them, put in their hands. So we'll have that done. Business cards, we can look at the digital ones. Really, at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of digital work for you guys. Like, you're not really going to be walking into home improvement stores and solar companies and things like that. It's going to be a lot of over the phone, a lot of digital, which I think is a little bit better for time because you can reach a lot more people in a little less time. So really, it's just going to be about getting teams set up or Google Meets or some sort of remote digital platform so that you can jump on and talk with them. We've done the phone call, conference calls and stuff. It really sucks because everybody's talking over each other. Sometimes the signals suck. So if you can, by any means, try to get on like a Teams, which you'll have connected with the email, especially when you're your first initial meeting with these companies, you absolutely want to have your face on there. So don't just jump on the video and like not have your camera on because it's just disrespectful, at least for the first meeting, right? They want to see who they're talking to. But jump on and then mindful of the scenario too, right? Like you don't want to jump on and like, shirtless or anything, or maybe unless you're Mexican. Think of like a business interview, right? Like,
with the shirt cut halfway with the
none of the halter crop tops, keep those for the next meeting. Because some of these companies you're going to be meeting with, you meet with the presidents, CEOs, so you just never know like where they're at with everything. So fortunately, we've had some pretty cool ones so far we've jumped on with. But the scripting, like that's the most important part because you're going to get to the point to where you're like, cool, I got these people on the phone or they're on the call. Like, what do I do now? Like, that's the biggest thing I think while we're all in here right now. Like all the other stuff, the story while we're here, that's cool. We've gotten to this point. Now, how do we get you over the top of that mountain? That's what we're going to talk about in this nice little awesome packet. So we're going to send this digitally too. It's in color and it looks really cool. So for this, we're just going to spend about 15, 20 minutes going through it really fast. We're going to be introducing some really cool AI on top of this to help you out and use as a sales tool when we start landing these accounts. There's a lot of training, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of education that goes into the AI with this to help you, once you lock down accounts, use as an aid to get information over these sales reps. Because some of these companies, you'll find Shem locked one down, a local roofing company last week, and they had, 2 or 3 sales people? Not a big account, but they have about $1 million of turndowns per month. That's like 2 to 3 deals that you're already going to be guaranteed because they love this product. So when we're talking about accounts, don't think of it like you have to go land a whale that's got 30 sales reps, and man, I'm going to get 1 per rep. Those are a little more difficult because remember, you've got to talk to 30 different people. You don't just talk to the sales president or the manager and go, hey, snap your fingers and they're going to send you every single deal. So it's relationships you have to build with each individual rep. So for Shem, he can establish a relationship with either the sales manager, the owner, and then that will be a top-down mentality talking to the reps. or you just go individually with the reps. So understanding time management, your time management, if you go lock down a big account with 30 reps, awesome. Like that might be the only thing you need to do and focus on for the next month, because you can schedule time with each one of those reps. And then as we dive into this in a couple minutes, you can know how to go down, and it's just repetitive. There's nothing new under the sun. It's the same exact spiel. Like Jim said, it's not selling, you're just telling. So jumping into that, we are going to have a video that Shim did. It's awesome. We're not going to play it here because we just don't want to have everybody gather around a small computer. For those online too, we're going to be sending it out. It's about a 15-minute video, which talks about the product. It's AI. It's pretty cool. It has B-roll, and it goes back and forth between what the product is and somebody talking to you. So we encourage you to watch that, because that'll highlight the product a little bit more than what we're talking about here. We're just briefly touching on it because we don't want you to get lost and inundated in the details and the minutia of the actual product. That's what the Mark, Keith, and April are going to be doing. You're not going to be talking with the clients. I'll be very clear about that. You don't want to talk to clients because they will inundate every minute of your day. Just as the loan originators don't want to talk to the sales reps because they will inundate every minute of their day. So in a case where we've painstakingly gone through this for the last 6 months, April has talked to the client and the sales rep. And about 8 hours of her day are just jam-packed between communications and side texts and group texts and going back and forth. So this process streamlines the entire relationship to where you as the AE only have a duty to the actual sales rep. And in this, we're going to go over that's what is that relationship and what does that look like. So we'll go over that so that you understand. By the time you leave here today and you review all this, you'll know exactly what it is. It's not rocket science. It's super simple. So getting into this, just into the section 1, talking about what exactly is no pay now. So what are we? Are we a lender? Are we a company? Are we pitching product? Are we selling goods? We're a third-party origination company. We're like a marketing company connecting the borrowers to different lenders that we have access to. That's it. That's what a broker is. So when you go to buy a car at the dealership, that dealership, unless it's like a CarMax, is going to say, hey, what are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for this specific car. Oh, sorry, we don't have that on our lot. Okay, I guess I better go to this car lot. Whereas if you go to that car lot and you say, hey, I want this car, no problem. We're going to call our relationship or dealers, and we're going to get that car for you. That's what we're doing. So we have a product with multiple lenders that we can connect that client to. Going to section 2, program objectives. So speed to first transfer. Obviously, this is the most important part that we're finding is the biggest obstacle in anything. When that sales rep, and we're going to work through this process together and all this, but as they upload that lead, and that lead just sits there for a day or 2 or 3 or 5, there's going to be instant trust lost with the process and the program and you, because you're building this brand together. So if you get in and go, okay, cool, yeah, it's simple, just upload this form, and then here all the information, snap your fingers, and it's going to be qualified, and they're going to close. That's not how this works. So there's people involved in this process. You as the AE are going to work with the sales rep and make sure that that deal goes through all the way to the AM, the account manager, which is going to be April, Keith, or Mark, and we'll assign pods at the very end of this so you'll know exactly who is responsible for what. So as that lead comes in, it's going to go into the sales process. The process is absolutely boring and mundane. It has to get into there, and then from there, that's where the account manager is going to qualify them. They're going to talk about how much money they can get qualified for, and then go through the whole process with them. You, again, as the AE, are not going to talk to the client. You'll know that because you'll have notes that you can see, and then what we're going to want to talk about is getting back to the sales rep and talk to them exactly maybe what they're qualified for, what the process is from there. Hey, we ran into an issue with Miss Jones. She actually has her home in a trust, so it's going to take a little bit longer now. We have to track down the trust documents. Then we have to go in appraisal orders. So we're probably a couple weeks out from being able to fund this deal, but it looks like it's going through. That's all the sales rep's going to want to care about. Communication. Communication, communication, communication. If you put them on ice and you don't answer your phone, what are we even doing as an account executive? That's literally the role of the account executive, is to communicate back to the sales rep. That's how you get more deals. So if you answer the phone on time, if you reach out to them where they don't have to reach out to you, you're going to win the deal 100% of the time. Because it's all about what have you done for me lately. You can be the best AE for 5 months and you take a month off on vacation, and that one deal they send in, they're banking on getting the commission on it. And if you screw that up, you could be toast forever.
Well, it's not that you screw up, it's if you don't respond. You don't communicate.
Yeah, it's a fickle business. And so as long as you can, what I was always taught is plan your work and work your plan. It's that simple. We're not talking about making 10 hours a day carved out every single day for this. We're talking about, and I'll go over this, just a simple 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, 2 hours a day, following up, setting accounts, following back up with those ones that didn't answer, the ones that wanted more information.
One thing I will tell you, I learned from a top producer, Elo, is that he created theme days. So one of your theme days could be, hey, Mondays I call new home improvement companies, Tuesday I call new solar companies. But what's important about your theme days is have those days where you just follow up. Hey, Joe, I just want to go over the 5 deals you sent me. Here's the status. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Tim, here's the 6 deals you sent me. Here's da-da-da-da. And then also, meet with your AM regularly, whether it's once a day, 3 times a week, it doesn't matter. You gotta know what's going on with your pipeline. Just don't throw them in and just cross your fingers. I hope they go. Know where they're at, because you have to communicate that to your reps.
Which is section 3.
Oh, sorry.
Breaks. No, you're perfect. That breaks it all the way down. So if you have any question about what it is that I'm trying to do here, account executive, AE, you own the partner business relationship, meaning that's you. You own that client. You get to decide. We're not going to sit here and tell you what to do. You get to decide, hey, how frequently do I want to meet up with them? Which then, when you make that initial call and you're on the phone with the sales manager, sales rep, hey, when do you have your sales huddles with your team? When do you meet regularly
that's
with your
good.
sales reps? Oh, we meet every Tuesday at 10. Can I be invited to those?
As a matter of fact, guys, that actually what happened to us yesterday morning. We got invited to the roofing and solar company, their actual sales meeting. So all the sales rep on there. And then the one we did the week before, that was a big organization. They had like 20 sales people on there. So the owners were on there, and we did the whole presentation with the whole sales team. But he's right. Not just the sales pitch, but weekly, just be on there and give people updates and just be a part of that. I think it'd be a big deal.
Have you guys been able to do a sales pitch to the team?
You want to usually carve out between 30 minutes to an hour.
Initial,
yeah.
And
If you
that's
go longer than an hour, you're going to start to lose people.
that's
Yeah.
That's it. And really, we have a slide deck that we're going to send you, which is 6 slides.
Oh, slide it. Yeah, we do have
Super
that.
simple.
So a little.
We're going to send it to you.
Yeah, PowerPoint, yeah.
You literally, you could robotic repeat this to 10 different companies. It's super simple. And that's why in this is the more the guide. You're not going to want to share this with the AE, the sales reps. This is for you to kind of understand and go in on your own time and start really diving into this. We're not going to cover all of it right now. It'd be a waste of time. But really at the end of the day, this is a high level of, this is your operating manual. This is like the Bible to understanding how to be successful with this. And so I'm going to help you go over all the initial accounts. When you get a deal set up, I'm going to be on there, as is your account manager. So whether it's Mark, April, or Keith, they're going to be on that call with you, walking you through that, because everybody that has been doing these, Keith, how long have you been doing these?
8 months?
Yeah, 8 months.
Everybody here is more than seasoned to be able to help you out. So account executive, your main goal, objective is, and we're going to give you lists to start out with, which is going to have dozens and dozens of these to start calling, is lead refinement, sales building with the managers or the sales reps, communicating, and then monitoring the lead flow quality. That means talking with your account manager and then getting back to that sales rep, whether it's on a 15-minute huddle, a weekly huddle, every other day huddle. It depends on how needy they are, right? They might say, hey, I want a daily update.
Right.
Sometimes it's like we get life, right? Life comes to the way, hey, you know what? I have a lot of accounts. I respect our relationship. How about instead of a daily, what if I just send you an email every day on an update? But how about this? How about I get back with you every 3 days, 4 days? Like, what about a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? You work it with your schedule, compromise on that, but hold yourself to that schedule, because if you lose that, you're going to lose that client, and we don't want that. Yeah, so that's the issue. If you feel like your account's blowing up, or you've got some product issues or software issues, obviously get everybody involved if you can. We're gonna have all the emails and instructions and stuff. Because if that's a systems issue that's keeping or prohibiting you from doing your job, we need to know about that ASAP. So I'm not gonna beat the dead horse. You can look, section 3 will tell you about every single one of them that's on there, their roles. And this is what we want to explain to the sales reps, that, hey, you have an account executive that you need to talk to your issues about. Don't call the account manager. The account manager will talk to your clients, and then you guys work out what that looks like for you. I'm not going to sit here and mandate what a process is, because everybody here has different schedules, and they all have different ways, or you have different ways of operating. I'm not going to tell you how to build your business. What I can do is set the framework, and Jim and I can say, hey, we can be supportive in that. Whatever works best for you, though, make it work, right? Plan your work your plan. So on section 4 goes over eligibility, fast qualification box. This is just a high level of what Jim has already talked about. Geography, we're in 26 states. Minimum credit score is 500. Minimum equity they can pull out is $30,000. So if they say, hey, I just need to pull out $7,000, We're not doing it. The lenders have a minimum requirement because it's costly, it takes time. For $7,000, you say, hey, why don't you just go, open up a credit card or a personal line of credit or something.
Actually, and I had a client calls for that $8,000 battery, and I was like, that's just not us. Yeah.
Not for this program. $600,000 max. So if they say, hey, I own a free and clear house for $10 million, I want to pull out $1 million, it doesn't work that way. It's $600,000 is the max. The overall product qualifications under Section 4. So that way you can look at it. You don't have to memorize it, but obviously the more you talk about it, it's just going to come second nature to you. So if I call up and I say, hey, Hero, this client's got a 17-acre property to qualify. You betcha. We can go up to 20 acres on some products, not all products. Again, that's why we're a broker, because we only have one specific lender that does up to 20 acres. The other ones, they cap it at 5. So
And 2.5.
Or 2.5. We don't expect you to know all of that.
Yeah, you don't
What
need
we
to.
want is that guy over there, Keith, Mark, or April, they know that. So the answer is yes, we go up to 20. And then let the account managers figure out the exact details of that. You don't need to get into the details of selling the products and all that. That's for the account managers. Again, automatic disqualifiers, so no manufactured mobile homes, more than 20 acres. If they have what CLT or LTV means is loan to value. So meaning if Cruz just buys a house last year, he puts 5% down, and say that's a 95% loan to value, meaning in easy terms, if he bought it for $100,000, he put $5,000 down, now he owes 95. This product has to have a minimum of 70 or maximum of 75%. So meaning these people usually need to be in their houses for a lot longer, hence the equity in that. So again, understanding terms like LTV, Google AI is your friend. We're not going to beat a dead horse on this, but these are automatically disqualifiers. We're going to jump on an AE product training and go over these inside your hubs to where your account managers are going to educate you on all of this stuff individually. That way we don't spend hours talking about it here. But again, it's all in here. So Section 5, talking about capacity, math volume. This is just a basic funnel that Jim and I put together after talking with companies that say you get them on the phone and you say, hey, you know what? We're not here to replace currently what's working. We understand you have traditional financing, whether it be through Synchrony or Wells Fargo or whoever that you send your leads to. We're not here to replace that. Keep what works. What we want to do is fix what doesn't. What doesn't is the money you're paying for marketing for these leads that are simply not being qualified for your product. We want to help you with that. So this product works really well. We've had great success in the past getting those customers to be able to say yes to this if they fit the criteria. That's it. You don't have to sell it. They just say, wait, so you're going to do all this for me. I don't have to pay you anything. There's no dealer fees. There's no cost for me for this. No, and I'm free to use.
Speaking of that, real quick, do you guys know what a dealer fee is? This is important. This is going to be one of you have to know this part. Here's what dealer fee is. If I'm a solar company and Sage is my client, and Sage is like, I really want financing, but I need a 15-year term because I need my payment to be X. So I go to ABC Bank and I say, hey, can you provide financing for my client? And they say, yes, but we can charge them 13% interest. Sage is like, I'm not signing 13% interest. I'll do 9. So I find the 9% program, and now I can get the bank to sell him a 9%, but the bank is going to charge me as the dealer, let's say $5,000. It's a lot. So I got to pay $5,000. And as a dealer, as a contractor, all I did was his project's now $5,000 more. He just doesn't know it, right? That's exactly how it works. Now, by the way, that's an extreme case. They can range anywhere from $500 all the way to even more than $5,000, the dealer fee. So that's the other reason we're so valuable is we are not going to charge the dealer anything, nothing, no fees. Right? Whereas the companies they're used to, other than credit unions, they have to pay this absorbent fee. So that's why when you lead with the hook of, we want to look at your turndowns and help you with your turndown business, a lot of times, since we have no dealer fee, they'll send us all their business, or as much as they can. So dealer fee, understand that the dealers have to pay a fee to the bank to provide financing for their customer. So
there's none of that with this. This is just a basic, simple product that I'll put it this way. We've not had one company that Jim or I or April or Mark or Keith have ever talked to that said, no, I'm good. Every single company we've talked to has said yes. Now, the problem is we've not been able to follow up with a lot of it, and we've lost a lot of their trust through communication. So we are going to rekindle those relationships and start passing them off to you guys. So we have, 30 accounts right now that we're going to start handing out. They've already said yes. They just need somebody to talk to and say, hey, what do you got for me? What do you got for me? we're already going to be handing out deals to you guys, and that's through the list that we're going to give to cold call, but then the list that we've already said, hey, we've already talked to so-and-so, reach out, introduce yourself, and we're good with this. So to talk about that top of sales funnel, so in section 5, going back to the math, this is real numbers from a company that we had called last week. 10 reps in the company, they have 2 to 3 declines per rep per month. So let's just easy math this. 10 reps at 2 declines per month, that's 20 deals that you have access to right now. So if you go back, just say, hey, 3 months, 6 months, a year. I don't know if I go back a year. I'd probably say, let's go back to, 3 months. Let's go 90 days and say, can you re-engage, reignite, resell, whatever you want to call it, back with your clients and pitch this product, see if we can get them back to the table, and then we can get them off to our account managers and qualify them for this product. That is literally all it takes is time. They've already paid for the client. They've already got the contact information. So if we're talking about doing that, just if they have 288 to 432, depending on the size of the company, the way the sales funnel works, not everyone's going to qualify, not everyone's going to say yes, but getting down to the bottom end of it, if they end up qualifying in that model, if you go back 3 months, you could literally pull $17,000 to $25,000, I'm not even kidding you, from these clients that we already have just by communicating with them, saying, hey, let's go back 3 to 6 months, talk to your leads, see if they like this, if they're interested, let's help qualify them. They're going to make more commissions, so they're going to say yes. All it is just saying, let's go back and reactivate, reignite your old leads. And then going forward, when we show you this product works, every time you have a financial decline, or maybe somebody doesn't want a payment, maybe the bid was so damn high, they're like, look, I don't want to add another payment. Hey, you know what? I got this awesome product. It's called a no pay. We can talk to you about using your home's equity. Would you be interested in that? You don't even have to sell them. The sales rep's doing that, and they're putting in the form, going right into the account manager. You never even know. You look in your form, you're like, oh my God, I got 10. Wow, I got 12 deals sent in today. What the hell? You know what? I'm going to call Ricky right now. Hey, Ricky, this is Bobby.
Yeah, Ricky Ricardo.
I appreciate you, man. Wow, I just see you put in 10 deals right now. Oh yeah, your product's great, man. Nobody wants these payments, dude. You know what? Hey, I'm gonna make it out your way next week. Obviously, it's not like Tennessee, but hey, can I? I'd love to take you out to lunch, man. Like, you drinking a beer? What do you want? Like that's keeping the communication alive, right? Because if they're referring deals and sending them in the process, you've done your job. Now all you have to do is maintain it. So section 6, I'm not going to go over right now. This is a foundation for you to customize your workflow with the sales rep. It's going to be different for everyone, because I don't expect you to literally draw out daily, say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Sales Rep, I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks of your life and we're going to go over all that. Absolutely not. If you read this, you could lump like 6 days into one. The point is this: you want to establish a relationship with the sales rep. And to be very clear, when you do get a sales company on board, there might be 6 reps that just say, I'm good, I don't need to do that. I got my own thing going, and that's cool. But there might be those 3 or 4 or 5 reps that are like, I am hurting right now, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills, and I'm willing to listen to anything. Great, let's talk. Because activity is infectious. What's going to happen is it's going to work, they're going to close more deals, and the other guys are going to go, wait, how are you doing that? Like, what? I just got to call my old leads, that's it? Like, I need to get them off to your AMs? I don't have to call them, really? No, you can just pass them off. So they're going to realize that if they don't get on this, that they're going to lose business. And ultimately, this is where you as the AE could jump in with the sales manager or sales owner and say, hey, you know what, I've been working with Ricky, and Ricky's killing, he's doing a really good job. He actually has revived 5 deals in the last 2 months that you guys otherwise would have lost. What sales manager is going to want to go, oh, okay, really cool. You know what, I have 5 other sales guys, they're all getting on board with this right now. And they're going to call those reps and say, get on board with Bobby, he's going to make this thing happen for you.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying is, when you have to educate the sales reps of the company, this is a good framework to be able to do that. Define the roles, right? Like, explain to them the process. What is an HEI in non-technical language? It's very simple. 10 question qualification scripters, definitions, terms, right? What's LTV? Maybe they don't know that. Maybe they don't know that this isn't a loan. We don't want to call it a loan when we're talking to the consumers, so it's not a loan. So it's just, this is all it is a coaching guide, just to be able for you to work on that over the next 2 weeks, to say, hey, we're not going to roll this out right now. I'm not going to inundate you with 4 hours of just boringness. But in the next 2 weeks, can we carve out one day with maybe 20 minutes a day and go over this so that you understand it?
Yeah.
You're literally building your business with the sales reps. So that's section 6. Section 7, the playbook, it's very simple. Again, it's just talking about how we can get you more deals in the pipe and be more effective in your approach to building relationships. So The weekly cadence, talking about the 10 companies, it's very simple. Right there, I laid it out for you to where you can have a manager huddle, 15 minutes per company. That's it. You're talking to the sales managers. These guys are busy, right? They're on a go. So you can literally break it out and say, hey, I have 10 different companies at 15 minutes. That's 2.5 hours a week. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Sales Manager, what does Wednesday look for? Oh, Wednesday's rough. How about Thursday? Okay, can we commit to setting consistency so that you can expect every Thursday at 10 o'clock, you're going to get a weekly pipeline update from me? That's fantastic. Thank you. Or, hey, do you have a sales meeting with your reps talking about pipeline? I'd love to be a part of that. That way we can just knock it all out at the same time. You don't have to take any additional time out of your day. Right? You always want to think the question after, and you don't want to put the ball in their court and let them tell you what they want. You want to have a little control on that.
With our call to Judson, remember they got a lot of value from learning that we are willing to educate their salespeople, so that they don't have to learn a new skill behind this new product. Right.
Yeah, nobody wants to learn all that. And that was a great quote. So the owner of the company was like, "Yeah, I don't have the time to train all my sales reps." We're like, "That's okay. We do that for you at no cost." I was like, "Oh, well then I'm all in." And we're like, "Oh, that easy?"
Not only that, he said, we don't really want your guys selling the product in detail, the numbers. We'll do that with a customer. And that was the other thing that he liked. So as much as we can take off to the owner of the company and the sales reps, the better you'll see that it'll get, right?
So what we're talking about is training. We don't want you talking to clients. So let's role play it up really quick. I'm sales rep. Ricky over here is the customer, right?
Bring it on.
Hey, Ricky, how you doing, man? This is Bobby.
Okay.
I'm over with No Pay Now. Remember, hey, we spoke last. It seemed like the finance of your payment structure was the main reason your project didn't move forward. But hey, I wanted to reach out because we have another option for you that helps some homeowners tap into their home's equity to get the project done. And you know what the best part is? It's not adding another monthly payment. And sometimes this can go up to 30 years. Would you be open to a quick question or two to see if this is a good fit?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Are you available tomorrow night?
What time? What shape?
Well, let's go after the NCAA basketball game. We'll talk, man. My ex-wife will be away, so we'll have some good laughter.
It's that easy. That's all that we've scripted it out for you to teach the rep to say, look, this isn't rocket science. You're just re-engaging, what was the word?
Oh,
Recapturing that lead.
Yeah.
They already have a warm conversation. It's not like you're calling up going, hey, I got this product, and by the way, my name is Ricky, and I'm really cool, and you should hear about how awesome I am. I'm a great sales guy. They've already got the lead. All they have to do is just say, hey, you know what? We got a really awesome product. I think it's a great fit for you. When can we get you in front of somebody to talk about it? Done. Right?
deal.
That's it. They're not talking, do you at least have a 500 credit score? Do you have some LTV in there? No. You know what they're going to do? They're going to put that lead in, and it's going to go off to Keith, and Keith's going to ask those questions. So we don't want the reps getting familiar with the product necessarily, because that's going to create a stopgap. They're going to get in their own way. It's sales, they're going to sell too much, and we don't want that. We just want them to hit the easy button, pass it off, pass it off. So that's why in Section 8 it's very important to go over and keep 20 minutes or 30 minutes, schedule time with the sales rep, and break it down and say, look, it even tells you, if the homeowner says yes, run the screen. If you want to take and capture information and help your account manager out as you get more skilled in this, collect the information and send it to them. But then there's a couple objections and responses. So if you want to understand a little bit about what the sales reps are going to be facing, what we've found from customers that say, hey, I don't want another monthly payment, I'm good. Oh, you know what? Hey, great. That's actually why I'm calling. This is one of the reasons that may be a good fit for you. The option's structured differently. Our homeowners use it specifically because it doesn't add a monthly obligation the way that a traditional loan does. These are sales reps, not you. These are sales rep questions. So what you're doing is you're arming them with objections and facts already to where you say, hey, look, I'm going to print up an email for you, and here's the most recent objections that we get from consumers that I think you're going to find really helpful when you re-engage with your clients to help sell this product. This sounds too good to be true. This can't be real. Like no monthly payments, 30 years, you're kidding. Hey, I understand, it's different from what most people are used to, which is why I want to ask and talk to you directly. I want to connect you with our specialist rather than take my word for it. There's really no obligation to move forward after speaking with them. They can explain the product a little bit more. You're asking for acceptance to close that next step, right? Sales reps, not you. Can you just send me some more information? Yeah, sure, I can do that. The quickest way to find out whether you qualify or not is actually relevant to your situation. We have to confirm a few basics first, just so we're not sending out something that might not apply to you. Would you mind if I asked a couple different questions, or a few questions on this? So you're, a good salesperson, by the way, is already going to know this, but we're assuming that all salespeople are good. This is where you can step in and be the professional and say, hey, I'm going to help mentor and model this for you so that you can go in and close all these deals.
Mark's got a question.
Mark, what you got?
Chavez.
Yeah, I concur. You know, I've sold about 20 of these deals to dealers, and they love it because they're sitting on credit fails for the last couple of years. I just talked to a group yesterday that has over 5,000 credit fails, so they're developing a team to actually re-engage with those clients. The only part I'm fuzzy about is, and I get asked this question a lot, what happens at the 10-year mark? The homeowner's not going to sell the house, and that note gets called, and they don't have a mortgage. They have no mortgage to extend that out.
So there's a couple. Yeah. So some of the lenders, depending on their equity position at the time, will do a refinance for them again on the same product, or we can jump back in and refinance it into a regular mortgage if they needed to. So they're going to have to do some type of refinance option.
Let's say a home goes up 3% in value for 10 years. Can you reverse the reverse?
I don't know what that means.
We've had that, yeah.
Oh, put a reverse mortgage, pay this off with a reverse mortgage?
Yeah.
Or do another HEI.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'll do another HEI or cash out, a rate and term refinance on a regular loan, or if they qualify for a reverse, we could look at that depending on the LTVs and stuff.
So theoretically, if they pulled out $100,000, the 10-year note gets called because they don't have a mortgage. They can either refi that out and then have a payment, and they're really just pushing any interest and payments out 10 years.
Essentially, yeah. Or what I'm saying is two things. One is what you just said, which is refinance a traditional mortgage, or depending on their position, the lender can do a refinance of the HEI again, pushing it out another 10 years. Does that make sense, Mark? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and the goal here is not for this account executives, you guys, to have these conversations with the client. That's Keith's job because he's the licensed loan originator, which is basically going to make sure that they can repay this obligation. What we call is we want to have an exit strategy. We want to be able to say, like, look, if you built this house with your bare hands and you don't ever plan on selling it, what is your plan to repay this debt? It's a debt that has to be called. And 10 years is one of our lenders, Mark. We do have, so other lenders we have are 30 years. So section 9 is talking about manager huddle template. So again, these are just templates. You can work from this. All I'm doing is giving tools to be able to say, here's something that works. You can make it work the way you want it to work. So if you want to talk about a 15-minute manager huddle, always start with a positive note. Talk about quick wins. Hey, you know what? Last week, man, Ricky sent over this deal, and they had a 510 credit score. They couldn't qualify anywhere. Like literally, we were able to get them qualified at $150,000 of their equity. That's massive. Not only are they going to pay off and get that new roof, but they're paying off all their high debt credit cards. They're going to raise their score probably the 700s after this is all done, and they're probably going to have about $25,000 of cash left over in their pocket. And they told me, she started crying, she's never had this much money in her life. We just changed her life. We not only just gave her a new roof, she paid off her debt, and we put tens of thousands of dollars in her pocket that she has never historically had. You want to give those sales wins back to the sales reps because it's going to light a fire in them to then regurgitate that story and tell other people, you know what, hey, it doesn't matter if you have a 510 credit score. Let me tell you about a client last week that we just qualified and not only got her a new roof, but paid off all this debt and was able to put money in her pocket after all of her high interest debt was paid off. So not only do we get a new roof and no payments, we pay off about $30,000 of revolving debt that would have cost about $80,000 to pay off in 10 years. And now she's completely debt free. So those are quick wins. You always want to start your huddles out with sales managers or sales reps because anything that you can give them that's easier to sell, they're going to do it. Scorecard reviews, again, these are all to you. Blocks for coaching, next week's actions, and then close it out, right? You don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about any one particular thing because sales managers, as we've seen, are going to be on their phone, updating statuses, responding to texts. Your time is very quick with them. That's why I say no more than 15 minutes. And then work out a deal with them. So questions you should walk away with on the next week's actions. How many reps called leads this week? Which reps are making the most progress? Which ones need support? a lot of times if a sales manager says, hey, everybody doing good? Yeah, it was good, boss. It's all good. Life sucks. I haven't got a deal in the last 2 months. So then that manager could say, hey, you know what? Why don't you spend a little more time with Ricky? Ricky's having some success with Bobby. Bobby's figured it out, man. Like, let's go do this. Shake and bake.
We're Billy.
So, and then talk about, hey, our account manager transfers being followed up quickly. So ask questions back to the account manager, the sales rep saying, hey, are you hearing anything back that I need to be aware of? Because I'm your rep. If let's have an ugly conversation. Is everything going well on your end? Are your sales reps happy with what I'm doing? Happy with the work of the progress of this process? No, actually, they said that Keith sucks and he's a Bills fan and we don't like the Bills. Oh, I can't fix that. But, hey,
Bills?
Go Bills, right? So other than that, that's really all I've got. The rest of this is just talking about working your process and building out your actual sales funnel. So if you want to talk about daily rep activity, if you want to talk about weekly company summaries, total dials, HES completed, if you're just like, hey, you know what, I want to set a baseline because I don't know what the hell I'm doing or how to be successful, we're going to give you the list. You have the scripts. You have your account managers that'll say, yeah, I'll be on the phone with you because that's deals that I get to close and get paid on. So they'll be more than willing to help you out with that. At that point, you could say, cool, I made 20 calls this week. I talked to 2 companies, and they both tell me to go get screwed. You're like, well, that sucks. I need help. So be honest with yourself about what you're doing. If your account managers can't help, we will absolutely step in and help you. And we will literally put you on live calls and give you the account on the call. I have no problem with that. Because we're very confident in being able to sell this because we've been doing this for 9 months now. And we've stumbled through calls where we were like, well, that sucked. I might as well go and start a shotgun right now because I lost every bit of the deal. And then we get a deal from it. We're like,
What the?
no way.
That's true.
No way.
Your account manager will be available for you guys, but also in the beginning, while we're still small, Judson and I can jump into and help. But as we get bigger, because we plan to get bigger really fast, guys, then obviously we'll have less time. But Keith?
Guys, I think the AE position is a dream position. I spent 30 years plus in sales, and the one thing that I've always looked for in sales is residual income.
And that's the one thing, because once you drop it off.
Yeah, but think about this. Once you train your reps, you only have to train them once.
Yeah.
They got it. Move on to the next rep.
What, will this happen to my ex-wife too? Train her once?
Yeah, train them once, and it will happen because that is true residual income. And just keep training the next rep, keep training the next rep, you don't necessarily going to have to go back to that first rep. Yes, you're going to check in on them, but set it and let it ride.
And that's such a good point, you guys. Hold on. That's such a good, no, you can't forget it. That's the point.
I didn't say forget.
Yeah. That's such a good point, he said, because if you train your reps and build a relationship with them, they don't always stay at the same company. So what happens when they leave, they want to take your product to their next company, and then that company has another 10 sales reps. And guess what? Now you have more to work, right? So again, it is about training them, spending time with them, building relationships, talk about the Bills if they're a Bills fan, whatever that looks like, right?
Jumping on tables.
So again, he's kind of right, which is once you teach them, the idea is if they're going to stay in the home improvement business or the solar bit, whatever line of work they're doing, hopefully they just keep sending you deals for the rest of their career.
Remember, the most important key takeaway, you're not selling Kirby vacuums, you're not selling insurance.
Yeah.
You're not selling anything. All you're asking to do is equip salespeople with an additional tool to do their job. That's it. You're not selling anything. So don't feel like, oh crap, I gotta go sell this guy on this. You're not selling it. Hey, just have conversation, just have dialogue.
You know the way I look at it with these guys, because I've talked to a bunch of the owners. I actually feel sorry for them if they don't talk to us. I really do. Because it's either 10, 15, 20, or 30% of they lost revenue of their business if they don't talk to us. That's the way I feel about it. You can take the same approach or you don't have to, but I don't look at it selling anymore. I really don't.
That's all I've got. I know that was a little longer I wanted to take on it, but it's like 18 pages. Again, I'm going to send it digitally to everybody so you've got it.
Okay, cool.
And if you want to jump on a call and Macy's Word role play, do something like that, we're totally good with it. If you want to have like little, which I'll spoiler alert, pod meetings to where you have your account manager and you guys have breakout meetings here and there every week, that I think is the best because the account manager can play the customer, can play the sales rep, and give you that real time feedback and stuff on what to say, what not to say.
So real quick to go over we'll go over two things. We'll go over the pods. So basically, just so everybody knows, Sage and Macy, you guys, your AM is Mark Ritchie, Mark Chavez, Julie.
Like Lionel.
Yeah, your AM is April, and U4's AM is Keith. So as far as our quick start incentive program for the month of April is every rep that gets 10 meetings, you do a presentation, 10 presentations in the month of April gets an extra $500 in May's payout, and the AMs get an extra $500. So not every 10. Just I like where your head's at though. I do like that. We might have to consider that actually. But right now, what's in the budget is 10 bookings, 10 presentations is an extra $500 for you and the AE.
Okay, so the A gets 500 and we get 500. Not
You're the AE. The AMs get 500. You get 500.
okay, not 250 apiece.
No,
Okay.
500 each.
No reason.
But it's in the calendar month.
Yeah.
So starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.